Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Are you taking an iodine supplement thinking they're all the same? Have you heard me talk about the importance of iodine and thought, oh, well, I'm taking my iodine supplement that my practitioner told me about. We're all good, right? Maybe not. They're not all the same. I talk a lot about how supplements could be actually harming you and not helping you, whether it's iodine or another kind. We're going to dive into it. So welcome to Accelerated Health with Sara Banta, where I cut through the noise and fast track your journey to better health. I'm your host, Sara Banta, CEO and founder of the Accelerated Health Products, certified by the National Association of Nutritional Professionals. I'm here to share the latest on supplements, wellness hacks, natural health solutions that actually work. Maybe you're taking those supplements and you're not feeling any different. We talk about how to boost energy, detox, balance your hormones, everything in between. I will help you reach your optimal health. So let's dive in. We're talking about why Monatomic Iodine is outselling Kelp and Lugols. Have you heard me talking about this? Well, if you're still using Kelp, and I used to, or Lugols, and I used to, you're not alone. These are two of the most popular iodine supplements out there, and for years, I recommended them, I sold them, I took them, I gave them to my family. But once I really dove into the science, the sourcing, and what our bodies are facing today, unlike our parents and our grandparents in this toxic world, my opinion has changed dramatically. And I know iodine is a controversial topic, especially amongst thyroid experts. It's not all about the thyroid anymore, you guys. Iodine does so many other things for your body. So we need to talk about what it's doing to your overall health and why it matters which kind you're taking. Studies suggest that iodine supplementation can have a significant impact, not just on your thyroid, on your cognitive development, thyroid health, and overall well-being, but cognitive health, anxiety, depression, are they higher than they have been? Yeah. I realized that those go-to iodine sources could actually be contributing to fatigue, hormonal imbalances, detox overload, and not helping them. I have had many of you, including a family member, saying, I'm allergic to iodine. Guys, your body needs iodine. That's like saying, I'm allergic to water or I'm allergic to food. You can't be allergic to something that your body needs. You're probably allergic to something that's in that supplement. And I've helped thousands of clients address their thyroid issues, hormonal chaos, chronic fatigue. And at the age of 49, I have more energy, feel better than I have ever felt, including my high school and 20s, those years when you're supposed to be at your best, right? Well, I feel like I'm at my best now. And I only use Monoatomic iodine, specifically Accelerated iodine, and we're going to get into why. But there's lots of different forms out there, and I first want to talk about the importance of iodine. Like I said, being allergic to iodine, that's like saying you're allergic to water. Your body needs it. It's an essential component for a healthy human body. And most people talk about your thyroid hormones, T3 and T4, even T2. What does that stand for? Tyrosine and 3, 4, or 2 molecules of iodine. How can you have thyroid hormones without iodine? These are the hormones that drive your metabolism, support your growth, keep every cell in your body functioning optimally. And when you don't get enough, everything slows down. Constipation, hair falls out, thinning of the eyebrows, edema, gut issues, right? Unexplained weight gain, unexplained inflammation, heart disease. Imagine that, fatty liver disease. Iodine and thyroid health is connected to every part of your body. The thyroid is the master endocrine gland, so it controls everything, and it needs iodine. So we have another pandemic, our mental health issues. through the roof. Anxiety, depression, ADHD. Could it be iodine deficiency? Well, that's where I'd start. I would absolutely be telling anyone on antidepressants, anti-anxiety, or ADHD medication, let's put you on some iodine supplementation and then see how you're doing, right? So it is more than just a thyroid mineral. It is for that T3 and T4, but it also is needed for so many other things. And in today's world, we are so toxic. We have halogens, heavy metals, EMFs, hormonal disruptors. Iodine isn't just helpful, it's necessary. Number one, it helps with the cell membrane stability and detoxification. And I've done this before where we've got the cell, okay? The cell membrane is the brain of the cell. That brain tells the cell what can go into the cell and what comes out. If you are full of toxins, guess where your body's going to put those toxins? It's going to make some more fat cells to get it out of the blood and put it in these fat cells. Well, if you have no iodine or insufficient iodine to support that cell membrane that is made up of iodolipids, iodine and fat, you are not going to be able to get those toxins out. They're trapped forever. It makes the cell membrane very inflexible and rigid. We want that cell membrane flexible to be able to get the nutrients in from your diet, right? We're trying to eat healthy. You're not going to get any of those nutrients into your cells unless the cell membrane allows it. And we're not going to be able to get those toxins out unless the cell membrane allows it. So these membranes are not just structural, they're functional. And you need a healthy cell membrane throughout the body for your health to be able to be optimized and to get rid of all these modern toxins. I was just in London and the smells and the toxins and the city life, oh my gosh, I could feel it. You better believe I high dosed my iodine. And I feel great. I'm back to normal, feeling good at home. Don't want to do the city life, but I can tell you it is needed because of all of the extra toxins we're exposed to. Without enough iodine, these membranes become leaky. And when that happens, toxins like heavy metals, plastics, we're hearing a lot about microplastics, and radiation from our cell phones, from 5G, from our computers, all of that stuff, that all gets trapped in those cells. And that disrupts the mitochondria. The mitochondria are powerhouses of our cells. And inside the mitochondria is ATP. Without enough iodine, that ATP goes down to 2 per mitochondria. We need that ATP up at 36, and you can only do that with iodine. It boosts that ATP. That is your cellular energy. That is what helps with your fatigue, not the coffee, not the Monster drink. We need true cellular energy. And you can't have that if you don't have enough iodine. So that's where you're going to have the brain fog, cellular breakdown. And then to make matters worse, when the body can't detox efficiently, it starts producing more fat cells to store these toxins. And you're thinking, I'm not eating very much. I exercise. Why am I gaining weight? Because your body's trapping toxins and it doesn't know how to get rid of them because it doesn't have enough iodine. So let's address the thyroid because it is essential for your thyroid. Your thyroid cannot produce hormones without iodine. T1, T2, T3, T4 all require iodine atoms. That's what the number represents. These hormones regulate your metabolism, body temperature, heart rate, fat burning, even your mood. Have you taken your body temperature lately? Is it above 98? Probably not. 96.7, 97.4. You have hypothyroidism. Your doctor probably hasn't pinned it though because they're only testing TSH and T4. Those don't tell you the full story. Your free T3 is your metabolism. We need that inactive T4 to convert into free T3. Where does that happen? That happens in the liver. Iodine helps the liver. We're going to get into that in a minute. But iodine deficiency can trigger both hypothyroidism and autoimmune thyroid issues like Hashimoto's. Oh, but Sarah, I have Hashimoto's and my doctor said stay away from iodine if you have Hashimoto's. That rumor was started by Dr. David Brownstein, who mentioned in the podcast that I had with him on that he stated that in the first 5 years of his practice, before he knew anything, he gives all of his Hashimoto's patients iodine. And does he just give it in small doses? No, he high doses it because all the reasons we are talking about today. So this will lead to symptoms like sluggish metabolism, unexplained weight gain, constipation, bloating, because everything is slow, even your bowel movements. Depression, anxiety, you're not getting circulation up to your head. How can your body have a good mood when you don't feel good and you have no circulation to your brain? Brain fog, cold hands and feet, your hair thinning or hair loss. Why is your body going to worry about your hair growth if it can't even take care of the important functions down here, right? It doesn't care what you look like. And even in cases of hyperthyroidism, iodine can help stabilize and nourish the thyroid instead of suppressing it. You need iodine for that mitochondrial function and increasing that ATP, right? So when you stop having enough iodine, it will trigger that chronic fatigue, the reduced resilience, slow immunity, poor recovery, faster aging. The number one cause of mitochondrial failure, iodine deficiency. And then let's get into the cognitive function and brain health. The number one cause of depression is iodine deficiency. It's one of the few nutrients that cross the blood-brain barrier and actively detoxifies the brain. It supports mental clarity, neurotransmitter balance, and the removal of neurotoxins like mercury, aluminum, fluoride. Fluoride's been in the news, you guys. It's in our water. It's in our toothpaste. Even the government's recognizing it. Got to get the fluoride out, but it's a very difficult molecule to trap with water filters. So even I am being exposed to it. You got to be careful and you've got to prevent it with iodine, because when you're sufficient in iodine, the receptor sites of the cells are filled with iodine. So when the fluoride that looks like iodine tries to park in that parking spot, it has nowhere to park. It'll just keep circling and circling and then finally give up and go somewhere else out of the body. So that's why it is so important to have iodine to kick these neurotoxins out. Now, once again, not just about your thyroid. So you can't just listen to your thyroid expert about not taking iodine. You need it for all of these other things. Research has shown that iodine deficiency can result in a lower IQ, especially in our children. If you are pregnant, you need iodine more than anybody because that baby in there needs that iodine to help with the IQ and brain development. Slower reaction times, increased risk of depression and anxiety, memory loss, developmental delays in children. According to Dr. Fletches, iodine doesn't just remove lead and heavy metals from the brain, it actually prevents them from accumulating in the first place. It helps improve serotonin levels by eliminating gut parasites that interfere with serotonin production. Since most serotonin is made in the gut, clearing out these parasites can result in a significant mood improvement and cognitive clarity. It helps with cardiovascular health. So remember, the thyroid's the master endocrine gland. Thyroid doesn't just regulate metabolism, it influences your cardiovascular symptoms. It controls heart rate, blood vessels, circulation. And when the thyroid's underactive, the heart slows down, blood pressure becomes erratic, arteries stiffen, and this can increase your risk of heart disease. So it's also important for those heart patients out there, right? It's so important for fertility, pregnancy, and fetal development. Pregnancy dramatically increases the body's iodine requirements. The development of the fetus relies on that maternal iodine to support the brain, thyroid formation, overall growth. And if you don't have enough, there's a higher risk of miscarriage, stillbirth, low birth weight, poor development in children, lower IQ in children, speech and motor delays. Most prenatal vitamins contain either the wrong form of iodine, toxic, or an insufficient amount. Iodine helps with that apoptosis, cancer protection. Apoptosis is your body's way of clearing out the damaged or diseased cells, and we want to get those out. It's crucial for anti-cancer. It plays a major role in triggering this process. It helps reduce the abnormal cell growth in the thyroid and the breast, lowers the risk of fibrocystic breast disease and breast cancer, supports prostate health in men. Men, it's for you too, not just our women. I have this issue in my family, fibroids, fibrocystic breasts. You can even use iodine topically over those fibroids, over your cramps during PMS, and use it with castor oil, Accelerdyne iodine with accelerated scalar castor oil topically reduces inflammation, and that drives the iodine in topically. Just another little tidbit. In fact, Japanese women who have some of the highest iodine intakes in the world also have some of the lowest rates of breast cancer. Iodine helps with hormonal balance and estrogen detox. Okay, so if you have man boobs, you can't build your arms up and the muscles at the gym. If you're gaining that weight around the hips and the belly, if you're a woman, you have estrogen dominance. That's not the good estrogen. That's the bad estrogen. There's the good and the bad, right? We want to get rid of the bad estrogens. We have high levels of bad estrogen because of the environment, the plastics, the toxins. Those all mimic estrogen. Soy, right? Iodine plays a crucial role in balancing the body's hormone system. It helps detoxify the excess estrogen, including the xenoestrogens from plastics, pesticides, synthetic hormones. If you're drinking the water, you're on birth control. You men too. That birth control, all those medications are in our waters. So we got to get them out. So estrogen dominance can take over without enough iodine. And what does that look like? It looks like weight gain around the hips and thighs, heavy or irregular periods. Menstrual cycles have gotten so much worse with our younger generation. Breast tenderness, mood swings, fibroids, ovarian cysts, PCOS, low testosterone in men and women. We need our testosterone, women. It's the feel-good hormone. It's the hormone that makes you want to go do something today. Iodine supports the liver detox of estrogen, reduces estrogen receptor sensitivity, lowers oxidative stress caused by hormonal imbalances, and it supports that progesterone and testosterone production, right? Estrogen doesn't work alone. It works with the other hormones too. So it also helps with that full body detoxification. It displaces, and this is called halogen displacement. Go back to chemistry class in high school. It displaces bromine, chlorine, fluoride. There's that fluoride again. Bromine and chlorine. Bromine is one of the 12 deadliest toxins in the world. It's illegal in Europe for a reason, but it's illegal here. Chlorine in our water, in our pools, fluorides everywhere. So if we don't have enough iodine in those cells, these other halogens take up those parking spots because they look the same. So this is where we're getting exposed to these elements in the fluoridated water, our toothpaste, brominated flowers, Mountain Dew, chlorinated tap water, airborne toxins, food preservatives, EMF radiation. Iodine helps with hydration, and it is a very strong antioxidant. So according to Dr. Miller, iodine neutralizes hydroxyl-free radicals, some of the most damaging molecules in the body. And in the presence of iodine, these radicals are converted into water, which helps hydrate the cells without drinking water and prevents oxidative stress. So this makes the cells more hydrated, helps protect the DNA, helps with anti-aging, mitochondrial repair. Iodine is also antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, antiparasitic, anti-mold. We're seeing a lot more parasites, a lot more mold, a lot more candida. People are sick. Mysterious viruses are popping up after the pandemic. It's a whole nother topic. It also helps with EMF protection. 5G, smart meters, Wi-Fi exposure, all of that. We're not getting rid of our cell phones, even me. We've got to protect ourselves. It strengthens that cellular integrity, supports the mitochondrial defenses, it clears out the radiation-linked particles from the tissues. Super important for that EMF exposure. Helps with the pineal gland, helps with your spiritual health. The thyroid is the bridge from the brain to the body, right? So it depends on iodine. And how can we not use our higher self, connect to God, to our religion, whatever that means to you, with a pineal gland that is just clogged with a whole bunch of neurotoxins, including fluoride. The pineal gland is often called the third eye. It's highly sensitive to fluoride and environmental toxins. Iodine helps decalcify and restore the pineal gland function, which can improve sleep quality, emotional balance, even your spiritual clarity. And it helps with the mood, depression, emotional stability, anxiety, panic attacks, mood swings. And iodine, unfortunately, you're not getting enough from your food. Our soils are depleted of iodine, of all minerals, magnesium. I had Wade Lightheart on talking about magnesium. It's very difficult to get enough magnesium in your body. And you would think that you could get it enough from your seafood or your sea kelp, and we're going to get into that in a minute. They are rich in iodine, but the concentrations vary, and you don't know what you're getting, right? And you don't know what other toxins are in those foods. Our oceans have been contaminated. Our seawaters from the Asias have been contaminated. They're radio contaminated from Fukushima. Dairy products like milk and cheese can provide some iodine, but not enough. We're not getting what we need. Our needs are higher than they've ever been, and our soils and diet are more depleted. And then if you're going for a plant-based milk instead of dairy, you really have no iodine. If you think you're getting it from your iodized salt, most salt is not iodized anymore, and it's full of microplastics and other contamination that you're introducing more toxins to your body that we're trying to kick out. So it's really not coming from the diet, right? Okay, so iodine deficiency is a new modern epidemic. If I were to take one supplement to a deserted island, it would be iodine. And it's around the globe. Iodine is needed for that halogen displacement, right? The fluoride, bromide, and chloride. You don't have it in the soils. You also have glyphosate. And that glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup. It damages the gut lining, binds to essential minerals, making iodine even harder to absorb. Most people have leaky gut. They're not even absorbing what they're taking in. Contaminated seaweed and kelp. So here is the seaweed and kelp topic. The ocean pollution is real. It's not a political thing. Kelp and seaweed, while natural in iodine, they're often contaminated with mercury, arsenic, cadmium, lead, and those microplastics. And the kelp-based supplements are made from this. And it's coming from dried seaweed with poor absorption, toxic load, and you're not getting the benefit, right? And one capsule might contain 150 micrograms or 3,000. You don't know what you're getting. Then we have the spike protein from the pandemic. We're now seeing the lingering effects of this where it binds to the ACE2 receptor and that in the iodine-dependent tissues, the liver, the thyroid, the lungs, reproductive organs. That's why we're seeing more hypothyroidism, more liver and lung issues, more infertilities. This disrupts mitochondrial function, increases oxidative stress and inflammation. And iodine has been shown to block viral replication and support your innate immunity. Not just about the thyroid, guys. Helps with your immunity. And with our modern day lifestyle, you need more iodine because of all of these things. And because of the diet. The diet, even if you're trying to do the right thing, doesn't have enough. But then if you are like most Americans eating mostly processed foods are anything in a package, even your organic low-carb protein bar, that is processed, that can cause leaky gut and cause a problem with your assimilation of all nutrients. Lactating women and pregnant women face even greater demands for iodine as their bodies need it for that fetus, remember? So these needs have increased and the sources of iodine have decreased. This is why we are in such a dilemma. And for those that say you shouldn't be taking iodine, it causes Hashimoto's, Well, iodine intake has decreased over history. Hashimoto's has increased. Wouldn't it be the opposite if iodine causes thyroid issues? Okay, so that's why we need iodine. But let's break down sea kelp and Lugols. Okay, sea kelp based iodine. Type of seaweed naturally contains iodine, right? But we don't know how much. And the kelp-based dietary supplements are commonly found in the health food stores. Don't know how much is in there, but we also are seeing that they could have other contaminations that could actually cause issues with your liver, backing up your detox pathways, making things worse. Then you've got Lugol solution. This is an iodine solution administered in liquid or tablet, contains a very specific ratio of iodine and potassium iodide, and it is commonly used. So how did Lugols gain popularity? I bet you don't know the story. During the Optimox-funded iodine project. Optimox is the Lugols maker. It followed 4,000 patients. They exclusively used Lugol's iodine in tablet form, not monoatomic iodine, not a clean or bioavailable version of iodine. Just old school's Lugol's made up of 75% potassium iodide and 25% diatomic iodine, I2, plus synthetic toxic fillers and binding agents to hold together the pill. So if you had a bad reaction, you could have been reacting to the fillers in the supplement. It was a pharmaceutical experiment and flawed. And what did they observe? Unsurprisingly, given their limited formulation, is that the thyroid preferred potassium iodide, while the breast seemed to favor that I2. That's why so many of you come to me and say, well, don't I need 2 forms of iodine? But instead of acknowledging the limitations of their product, they took this narrow finding and ran with it, falsely claiming that the body needs 2 forms of iodine. This is not true. Here's the truth. Your body does not need those 2 forms. It needs iodine in the form that it can actually use. It needs to break down those 2 into I-, monoatomic single atom iodine, single atom ion. That's it. So let's get clear on the chemistry. The thyroid doesn't absorb I2, diatomic iodine, or potassium iodide directly. Both of those must be lysed or broken down into I- before they can be used to make thyroid hormones like T4, which contains 4 I- ions, not 4 I2 or diatomic iodine molecules. Pharmaceutical school teaches this, but somehow that truth got conveniently buried in marketing, right? Now, this is where Cellular comes in. It delivers iodine in its monoatomic I- form, meaning that your body doesn't have to waste precious energy, and your body has no energy to waste because it's so tired, and it doesn't have to waste that. And that matters especially for you who are already dealing with fatigue, low thyroid function, mitochondrial dysfunction. People who are sick often don't have enough of the energy reserves to convert that I2 or the potassium iodine into that I-, that usable form. So let's call out the economics here. Lugol's was never about optimal health. It was about cheap production. And we needed to get iodine to the masses, right? We needed it affordable. You can't dissolve I2 in water on its own. But when you add 75% potassium iodide, it forces the I2 into the solution. And the tablets, they're filled with the toxic binders because alcohol, especially 200 proof organic alcohol that we use in the Cellular iodine, is far more expensive. Just like anything, you pay for what you get what you pay for. And don't even try rubbing iodoral, the tablet form of Lugol's, on scar tissue or on your skin. It won't penetrate. And it certainly won't activate healing the way that you will see with Cellular iodine. Cellular iodine is already in the usable form that the body needs, I-, and it's scalar charge to enhance that cellular energy and the detoxification, not just in the thyroid, throughout the whole body. That's why it works so well topically. You can mix it with that accelerated scalar castor oil, put it over your thyroid, put it on your face for the apoptosis cellular turnover to get rid of the wrinkles and the acne spots and all of that. And the results are fast and noticeable. So you don't need those two forms. Now, once again, the kelp-based iodine, inconsistent dosing, high contamination risk, low bioavailability. It can overload your liver and your lymphatic system with heavy metals and toxins. Lugols, it's well known, but what does it have? It only has about 10 to 20% absorption, often suspended in non-organic alcohol or water, which may contain toxins that you're allergic to or backing up your liver, can trigger detox reactions, rashes, fatigue, thyroid spikes. They're not sufficient. So this is where the monoatomic iodine comes in, that I minus. And that's in the form that circulates in healthy blood plasma, enters the tissues like the thyroid, the ovaries, the testes, and the brain. It is needed for every part of your body, right? Okay. I only trust Acceluridine iodine. It's in a class of its own. 100% pure monoatomic iodine, no potassium iodide, no molecular iodine, just single atom iodine that your body can use immediately. That's why you take it alone. You put it in water, nothing else. You have to wait at least 12 minutes to let it get to where it needs to go everywhere before you eat or take another supplement or drink anything. It's enhanced with scalar frequencies that help the iodine carry an even higher vibrational frequency, essentially making it more bioactive and better recognized by your cells. Zero contaminations, suspended in 200 proof organic non-GMO alcohol. Some iodines are put in glycerin that lowers the bioavailability. Some iodines are mixed with alcohol that is not 200 proof, that's diluted or is not organic. Those are all going to lower the bioavailability. That is why the Acceluridine is literally second to none. People notice sharper mental focus, more energy, less fatigue, steadier weight loss, better sleep, reduction of hair loss. Your mood improves. That's good for everyone in the house. Regular cycles, lighter periods. Who needs it? Everybody. But people with hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, thyroid nodules, women in perimenopause, menopause, fertility, teenagers that are going through that high level of apoptosis and those growth years, have painful periods, children with ADHD, those recovering from viral issues, those exposed to mold, metals, or radiation, anyone with chronic fatigue, hormonal imbalances, detox overload. It is a must. And this is, like I said, this is the one supplement that I will not go without. Hopefully, I cleared up some of the myths around iodine supplementation. Why they're not all the same, why not just reach for Lugols, why you need it if you have Hashimoto's and your practitioner might be wrong about telling you to stay away from iodine. What I would tell you is, how are you feeling? You feel good without your iodine supplementation? Might be something to try. Thanks for tuning in to Accelerated Health with Sara Banta. I hope you now have some tools and inspiration to take the next step. Head to SaraBantaHealth.com for my articles. I get really deep into iodine and thyroid issues. And you can join my free health group coaching on Telegram. The link is on my website. Shop your favorite supplements. Check out the Acceluridine Iodine, acceleratedhealthproducts.com. You can use coupon code podcast10 on your first order. And please share this with your friends and family. There's so many myths around iodine, and we need help spreading the news. And by doing so, you're not only going to help them, but you're going to help this podcast reach more people like you. So you can find this podcast by searching Accelerated Health with Sara Banta on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, E360, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Roku, and over 100 different platforms. Remember, I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so join me next time for more ways to unlock your health potential.